Innerverse thoughts. Feeling. Belief. How to hack your reality, Part 1. The invisible code. Waking up to the hidden system shaping your life. Chapter 1. The hidden operating system. Every single second, your brain is writing the code for your next moment of reality. It's like a 24/7 programmer, taking input from your thoughts, emotions, and deepest convictions. The question is, who's really holding the keyboard, you or an outdated program you didn't even choose? The hook. A life on autopilot. Imagine waking up tomorrow morning, making coffee, checking your phone, brushing your teeth, and heading out the door, without ever truly thinking about any of it. Sounds normal, right? But here's the shocking truth. Research shows that up to 95% of our daily actions, decisions, and reactions are unconscious, driven by habits and deeply embedded patterns formed years, sometimes decades ago. You're not really choosing to do most of what you do. You're running code. Like an app you didn't even install, your internal operating system is made up of your thoughts, feelings, and beliefs. These three invisible forces determine what you notice, how you react, and even the opportunities you're able or unable to see. Now imagine this. What if that operating system was never designed by you? What if it was pieced together by your parents' fears, your culture's expectations, and random events you barely remember? You might think you're steering your life when in reality, you're a passenger in a self-driving car programmed by someone else. This book is about taking back the wheel. A story of two realities. Let me introduce you to Emma. Emma always believed she wasn't good with money. This belief started when she was 8 years old and overheard her parents arguing late at night about bills. The fear in her mother's voice etched itself into Emma's nervous system like a tattoo. From that moment, she decided, unconsciously, that money was scary and hard to manage. Fast forward 20 years. Emma works hard, but every time she gets close to paying off debt or saving, something unexpected happens. A car repair, a medical bill, or simply an impulse splurge. She tells herself, "See, I'm just terrible with money." One day, a friend named Laura sits her down and shares a shocking perspective. "Emma," she says gently, "you're not bad with money. You've just been running the same old mental script. Your reality is just a reflection of what you believe." At first, Emma resists. But Laura introduces her to the TFB framework, the idea that thoughts spark feelings, feelings cement beliefs, and beliefs shape reality. Emma begins to see how her thoughts about money trigger anxiety, feelings, which reinforce her deep belief that she's bad at managing finances. This belief then drives self-sabotaging actions, like avoiding budgeting or making rushed spending decisions. 6 months later, Emma has completely rewritten her story. The external shift, her savings account growing, is dramatic. But the real transformation happened inside. She hacked her operating system. The concept, your inner code. Your mind is a powerful processor constantly taking in data, running predictions, and creating meaning. But unlike your smartphone or laptop, your mental software wasn't consciously installed by you. It was built over time from childhood experiences and family dynamics, cultural and societal norms, traumatic events or moments of joy, repeated thoughts and emotional patterns. Think of your thoughts as the blueprints, the initial sketches your mind uses to design your world. Your feelings are the fuel, the emotional energy that powers your choices. And your beliefs are the core code, the deep, often invisible rules that determine what you think is possible. The formula is simple. Thoughts plus feelings plus beliefs equals reality. Here's why this matters. Most people try to change their reality by working on the surface level, actions and circumstances. They hustle harder, switch jobs, move cities, start relationships, end relationships, yet the underlying code stays the same. So eventually, the same patterns resurface, just in a new setting. It's like trying to change a video game by painting the screen instead of rewriting the code. The visuals may shift for a moment, but the gameplay never changes. The science connection. Why this works. Neuroscientists have discovered that our brains are prediction machines. Rather than reacting to the world in real time, your brain is constantly predicting what it expects to see based on past experiences and beliefs. This means two powerful things. Your reality is filtered. You literally don't see everything. Your brain only shows you what matches your existing patterns. Your brain can be rewired. Thanks to neuroplasticity, new thoughts and beliefs can physically change your brain's wiring. Consider a famous experiment in neuroscience. Participants were asked to imagine practicing the piano for 2 weeks without actually touching a keyboard. Brain scans showed nearly identical changes in their motor cortex compared to people who physically practiced. This proves that mental rehearsal alone can create real-world neural changes. In other words, your inner world shapes your outer world, literally. Why awareness is step 1. Here's the tough truth. You can't hack what you can't see. The first step is simply becoming aware of the invisible operating system running your life. Think of it like shining a flashlight in a dark basement. At first, you might not like what you see. Old fears, unhelpful beliefs, outdated narratives. But awareness is power. Once you see the code, you can begin to rewrite it. TFB hack, the daily check-in to begin shifting your reality. Try this simple exercise. 1. Pause 3 times today, morning, afternoon, evening. 2. Notice your current thought. Write it down if possible. Your example, I'll never get this project done on time. Identify the feeling that thought triggers. Example, overwhelm, anxiety. 4. Ask yourself what belief might sit underneath. An example, I'm not capable of handling big challenges. Reframe gently. Replace it with a more empowering thought. I've handled challenges before. I can figure this out. This takes less than 2 minutes but starts to reveal the TFB loop in action. Over time, these small awareness moments create massive transformation. The takeaway: you are not broken, lazy, or doomed by fate. You are simply running patterns you didn't consciously choose. The good news? Patterns can be hacked, rewritten, and upgraded. Your reality isn't fixed. It's flexible, programmable, alive. And now you're learning how to hold the keyboard. Pulled quote, your reality isn't happening to you. It's happening through you. Chapter 2. Why reality feels random, but isn't. Life is not a series of random events. It's a series of patterned responses, running quietly in the background, like a song you didn't realize was playing until you stop and listen. The hook, the illusion of chaos. Have you ever had a week where everything felt completely out of control? You spill coffee on your shirt before a big meeting. Your car won't start. Someone cuts you off in traffic and you nearly crash. At work, a project blows up in your face. By evening, you're standing in the shower, whispering to yourself, why does this kind of thing always happen to me? When life goes sideways, it's easy to believe in randomness, that the universe is rolling dice and you just happen to be losing every throw. But what if I told you that what looks like chaos is actually a hidden pattern playing out beneath the surface? The truth is, your life is filled with recurring loops, and until you see them, you'll keep mistaking predictability for coincidence. The story. The friend who always chose the same. Let me tell you about my friend Marcus. Marcus had a type. Not just in relationships, but in everything. Jobs, friendships, even arguments. His romantic relationships always started the same way. Intense, passionate, full of promise. Within 6 months, the same conflict would emerge. He'd feel suffocated, misunderstood, and eventually, it would end in anger or ghosting. At work, he kept switching companies, hoping the next job would finally feel right. But within a few months, he'd start noticing the same dynamics. Difficult bosses, lack of recognition, and that familiar, creeping frustration. One evening, sitting across from me at a cafe, Marcus sighed and said, I just have bad luck. Maybe I'm cursed." I smiled gently. "Marcus," I said, "what if it's not luck? What if you're simply replaying an old program over and over?" At first, he didn't believe me. It seemed absurd. But as we started mapping out his experiences, a startling truth emerged. Every job and relationship he'd been in followed the same storyline, just with different characters and settings. Marcus wasn't cursed. He was consistently running the same thought, feeling, and belief patterns, which created familiar outcomes. The stage kept changing, but the script never did. The concept, the pattern beneath the surface. Life feels random only when you don't recognize the patterns. Think of an iceberg. The part you can see above water represents the visible events of your life: a new relationship, a job loss, a sudden stroke of good fortune. But beneath the surface lies the massive, unseen structure, your unconscious programming made of thoughts, feelings, and beliefs. That hidden structure drives what you notice and what you ignore, the meaning you assign to experiences, the actions you take automatically, the opportunities you allow or block. This is why two people can walk through the same situation and experience it completely differently. One sees danger, the other sees opportunity. One sees rejection, the other sees redirection. Same event. Different programming. Here's the kicker. Patterns seek repetition. Your mind is wired to repeat familiar experiences, even if they're painful, because familiar feels safe. So if, like Marcus, you grew up believing you weren't worthy of love, you might unconsciously seek relationships that reinforce that belief, until you recognize the pattern and rewrite the code. The science. Why your brain loves loops. Neuroscience has a term for this: predictive processing. Your brain doesn't just react to the world, it predicts it. Here's how it works. 1. Prediction. Based on past experiences, your brain generates a model of what it expects to happen. 2. Filtering. It pays more attention to information that fits that model and ignores information that doesn't. 3. Confirmation. Your behavior then creates results that confirm the model. It's like wearing tinted glasses. If your lens is red, the world looks red, even if reality contains many colors. Example: if you believe people can't be trusted, your brain will notice behaviors that seem suspicious, even if they're neutral. Interpret neutral events as threats. Act guarded or defensive, which might cause others to withdraw. Confirm your original belief. See, no one is trustworthy. This is how a feedback loop forms. Not random at all, highly predictable. One groundbreaking study by neuroscientist Dr. Lisa Feldman Barrett showed that the brain is essentially a prediction organ. In other words, you don't perceive reality as it is. You perceive what you expect to see. Your life isn't happening to you, it's happening through you. Why seeing the pattern changes everything? At this point, you might be thinking, great, so I'm stuck with these loops forever? Absolutely not. Patterns have power only when they're unseen. The moment you become aware of them, you create space to choose differently. Marcus's transformation began the day he said, wait, if this isn't bad luck and it's just a pattern, maybe I can change it. Within a year, he was in a healthier relationship, thriving at work and feeling more at peace. The external changes were remarkable, but the real shift was internal. He stopped mistaking old programming for fate. TFB Hack, the Pattern Tracker. This simple exercise will help you identify the hidden patterns in your own life. Step 1. Choose an area of life. Pick one. Relationships, money, career, health, or self-worth. Step 2. List 3 major experiences. Write down 3 memorable events in that area, both positive and negative. Step 3. Identify the common thread. Ask yourself, what thoughts did I have during each event? What feelings were present? What core belief might connect them? Step 4. Name the pattern. Give it a clear label like the I'm not enough loop, the chaos magnet pattern, the lone wolf script. Step 5. Observe without judgment. For now, don't try to fix it. Just notice when it shows up. The takeaway: life isn't a random series of wins and losses. It's a feedback system, constantly reflecting your inner world back to you. The coffee spill, the job offer, the argument, the breakthrough, they're all data points in the same underlying code. When you start to see these patterns, you shift from victim to programmer. Pull. Quote, "What you call coincidence is just a pattern you haven't named yet." Chapter 3. The Equation of Creation. Everything you experience is the result of an invisible formula running beneath the surface of your life. Change the equation, and you change reality itself. The hook. The code of the universe. Imagine for a moment that life is like a massive simulation. Every experience you've had, every heartbreak, every success, every coincidence that felt too strange to ignore, wasn't random at all. It was the output of a hidden equation quietly calculating your next moment. We tend to think reality is external, fixed, and solid. But here's the radical truth. What you perceive as reality is a projection of your inner world. And that projection is shaped by 3 powerful forces working together every single second. Thoughts plus feelings plus beliefs equals reality. This isn't just a catchy phrase. It's the operating system of creation. When you understand it, you gain the power to rewrite your personal universe. The story: how 2 people live in 2 different worlds. Let's look at 2 people walking into the exact same room. One is Sarah. The other is David. Sarah has been preparing for a job interview for weeks. She's nervous but excited. She walks into the room, smiles at the panel, and immediately feels a surge of confidence. The interviewers seem warm and encouraging. By the end, Sarah leaves feeling hopeful and inspired. David, on the other hand, had a rough morning. He was stuck in traffic, spilled coffee on his shirt, and kept thinking, "They probably won't like me. I'm not qualified enough." He walks into the same room minutes later. The panel looks distant and unimpressed, at least to him. By the end, David leaves convinced the interview was a disaster. Same room. Same people. Same questions. Completely different experiences. Why? Because Sarah and David brought different TFB equations into that space. Sarah's thoughts were hopeful, her feelings excited, and her beliefs supportive. David's thoughts were anxious, his feelings heavy, and his beliefs self-critical. The external event didn't change, their internal equation did. The concept, breaking down the formula. Let's unpack each element of the equation. 1. Thoughts. The blueprint. Thoughts are like architectural sketches. They create the initial design for your reality. Every thought sends a tiny signal to your brain and body. Positive thoughts create pathways of openness and possibility. And negative thoughts trigger fear responses and narrow your perception. Imagine you're building a house. If your thoughts are chaotic, your blueprint will be messy and unstable. If your thoughts are focused and intentional, your blueprint will be strong. Key truth: a single thought won't change your entire life, but repeated thoughts create the foundation of your experience. 2. Feelings. The fuel. Feelings are the emotional energy that powers your blueprint. Think of feelings like the electricity that flows through a house. You can have the most beautiful design, but without emotional energy, nothing comes alive. And positive feelings like love, excitement, and gratitude amplify your thoughts, making them magnetic and powerful. Negative feelings like fear, anger, or shame can distort your blueprint, sending mixed signals to your brain and to the world around you. Here's where many people get stuck. They think changing thoughts alone is enough. But if your feelings don't match your new thoughts, the old emotional energy will override your progress. Example. You can think, "I'm worthy of love," but if you feel unworthy deep down, the emotional signal will cancel out the mental statement. The result? Nothing changes. Key truth: thoughts set the direction. Feelings determine the speed. 3. Beliefs. The code. Beliefs are the deep programming that decides what's possible for you. They are like the core code running in the background of your operating system. Beliefs are usually formed in childhood through repeated experiences and messages. Once installed, they become self-fulfilling prophecies. Example: if you believe I'm not good enough, you'll unconsciously choose situations that confirm that belief. If you believe life supports me, you'll take bold actions and notice opportunities others miss. Beliefs are so powerful because they work automatically. You don't wake up each morning and consciously decide, I will limit myself today. The code runs without your permission until you rewrite it. Key truth: beliefs are the final authority in the TFB equation. If thoughts are the blueprint and feelings are the fuel, beliefs are the building laws that govern the entire structure. The science: how the equation shows up in your brain. Neuroscience confirms that this isn't just metaphor, it's physical reality. 1. Thoughts create neural pathways. Each time you think a thought, neurons fire together, creating a stronger connection. Over time, these connections form a neural blueprint. 2. Feelings trigger chemical responses. When you feel an emotion, your body releases chemicals like adrenaline, cortisol, or oxytocin. These chemicals reinforce the neural pathway, making it easier to repeat. 3. Beliefs determine what your brain filters. Your brain processes billions of bits of data every second. It uses beliefs to decide what to notice and what to ignore. This is called the reticular activating system, RAS, your brain's built-in filter. Example: if you buy a red car, you suddenly start seeing red cars everywhere. They were always there, you just didn't notice them before. Beliefs work the same way, but on a much deeper level. This means the equation isn't just philosophical. It's biological. Your brain is literally wiring your reality according to your TFB equation. Putting it all together. Why most people stay stuck. Here's why so many people feel trapped. They think positive thoughts, but their feelings are still negative. They change their feelings temporarily, but their core beliefs stay the same. They try to change actions without addressing any part of the inner equation. It's like trying to fix a broken computer by repeatedly clicking the same button. Until you rewrite the code, the same errors will appear. Sarah thrived in her interview because her TFB equation was aligned. David struggled because his equation was misaligned. Neither outcome was random. TFB hack: align your equation. Here's a simple practice to start aligning your TFB equation today. Step 1. Identify a recurring challenge. Think of one area where you feel stuck or frustrated. Step 2. Write down a dominant thought. What thought comes up most often about this situation? Example: I'll never find the right partner. Step 3. Notice the feeling connected to that thought. Example: loneliness, sadness, frustration. Step 4. Identify the belief beneath it. Ask, what must I believe to feel this way? Example: I'm not lovable. Step 5. Create a new alignment. New thought: love is possible for me. New feeling: hope and excitement. New belief: I am worthy of a healthy, loving relationship. Practice holding this new equation for a few minutes each day. Even if it feels strange at first, your brain will begin to rewire. The takeaway: your reality is not random. It's the predictable result of your internal equation. Every relationship, opportunity, and challenge you've faced has been shaped by the interaction of your thoughts, feelings, and beliefs. When you change the equation, you don't just change how you feel about life, you change life itself. Pull quote: you don't have to fight your reality. You just have to rewrite the formula creating it.